This morning, the Madison School Board moves forward with a contract that puts police officers in schools in spite of continued controversy.
And protesters are nearing the end of their 60-mile march to the Capitol. We'll tell you what they're asking for in the state budget straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for joining us on your Tuesday, June 25th. It is the definition of a pool day, at least if you ask Bear at the Polar Bear.
He's already been doing laps this morning.
Every day's a pool
I was going to
day
say,
for
it could be 20 degrees and the polar bear would be in the pool.
Swimming, yeah. But if you're like me and wondering whether or not that pool membership was a good idea this year, don't worry. We are going to heat up around here so you get some use out of the pool later on this week. There's a look at the polar bear doing laps again this morning. Not a bad start to the day at all. I think you'll find that as you step out the door, it feels a little bit more comfortable. Here's a look at our current dew points. They are in the 50s and low 60s. Quite a bit lower than they were this time yesterday, and that really makes a huge difference in how it feels outside. Now, temperatures will be warmer than they were yesterday, but with dew points remaining relatively low, still should feel pretty comfortable this afternoon. Southwesterly winds and highs in the low 80s. There will be a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms to pop up later today. They won't be as numerous as they were yesterday. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. Still pretty quiet here in and around Madison. I don't know, starts to pick up over the next hour. Maybe people are sleeping in a little bit more this morning because there aren't any issues on the interstate or any of those major routes into Madison.
We are making up for the lack of human pool days with a pretty long stretch of humid weather, right?
That's true, yeah. We are talking upper 80s, even low 90s. So stay tuned for that extended forecast.
It's been a while.
Sunscreen, Josh.
I know. Hey, I've learned my lesson.
We're just looking out for you. All right, thank you, Addie.
You're welcome.
Time right now is 6:02. A contract between the Madison School District and the city that puts police officers in schools cleared another hurdle last night, but some groups still want the board to reconsider. With only one vote in opposition, the Finance Committee agreed to pass the contract between the city and Madison schools to the next round. However, 3 former alders are requesting the school board re-vote on the issue. They said Board President Gloria Reyes shouldn't have cast her vote in the 4-3 decision that helped pass the contract since she works for the city. Here's the city attorney on the issue.
Once she moved out of the mayor's office, I don't think that there's sort of that connection between the negotiation or accomplishment of the contract.
The city attorney still left it open for the school board to decide. We reached out to the Reyes and the district and neither got back to us. As for the contract, it now moves to the full council, which is scheduled to vote on it next week.
Meanwhile, the school board has a new budget for the next school year this morning, but changes could still come depending on the state budget. The State Journal reports the board approved a $463 million budget with a 0.5% increase in pay for employees. But the proposed state budget could bring $2.7 million more in than expected to the district. That could mean a 1.5% raise for those district employees instead.
The State Assembly will meet to vote on the state budget later today. The Joint Finance Committee sent the budget proposal to the full Assembly earlier this month. The Senate is expected to vote on Thursday. It includes a $300 million middle-class tax cut and a $500 million increase in K-12 funding. It's the most significant spending increase in education in years, but still only about half of the amount Governor Evers was proposing.
A 60-mile march by education advocates will end at the steps of the Capitol this afternoon. We first told you yesterday morning the group has been walking from Palmyra over in Jefferson County all the way to Madison. They're pushing lawmakers to add a 60% reimbursement for special education costs to the state budget. They're scheduled to arrive at East High School at 1 this afternoon before walking the final 2 miles to the Capitol.
Members of the public will have their chance to pay their final respects to a fallen Racine police officer today. A visitation will be held for Officer John Hetland this afternoon in Kenosha. There's another visitation scheduled for tomorrow before his funeral with full honors. Hetland was shot and killed while trying to stop an armed robbery at a bar last week. There's still no suspects in custody this morning. Police are now offering a reward of $75,000 for any information leading to an arrest.
An update now out of Wisconsin Dells, where the body of the 11-year-old boy who went missing last week on the Wisconsin River has been found. Crews found his body yesterday, about a half a mile away from where divers started their search. Jamison Miller had last been seen going into the river near the Chapel Gorge Trail last Tuesday.
The 5th Bishop of Madison will be installed later this morning, and only our Charlotte DeLeste sat down with Donald Hine. Hine is from New Berlin and went to Marquette University while attending St. Francis Seminary. He's been a priest for 30 years, the last 4 of which he spent as a bishop for the Catholic Diocese of Gary, Indiana. He'll be installed at 11 this morning at St. Maria Goretti on the west side, and you can watch that event live on channel3000.com.
All right, 6:05 your time now. Corn is a major commodity for Wisconsin, but the outlook is far from good this year.
Experts say it is the worst planting season for the crop in 25 years. And Keely Arthur joins us live from a farm in Evansville to share why this is such a big deal. Keely?
Well, Josh and Leah, you can blame it on the rain. It's a very beautiful morning right now, but the sun's been pretty elusive for the entire season. The wet, rainy weather has caused farmers to either plant their corn crop really late or not at all. And I have here with me Nick Baker of the UW Extension to talk about this. And Nick, we all know farming is a tough gig to begin with. How has this season been even worse?
Well, with the cool, wet weather, we've definitely seen a lot of delays in our spring planting. Typically, we'd see all of our corn planted by early May, soybeans shortly after, and here we are at the end of June, and farmers are still fighting to try and get their crops in. We're definitely seeing areas that just can't be planted because it's been too wet. We're seeing a record number of prevent plant acres. That's the insured acres that just can't be planted because of weather conditions. So farmers are feeling the heat for sure on the delay in planting, potential loss of yield because of the late planting date. I know if you could see behind me, there's some soybeans that are really short. Typically, I talked to a farmer the other day. He said last year at this time, his corn was shoulder high and his soybeans were knee high. Right now, his soybeans that are planted are anywhere from 3 inches to smaller, and his biggest corn is only knee high. So we're really 2 to 3 weeks behind at least, even on the planted crops. And even the crops that got in on time, it's been so cool and wet that it's just really delaying things this spring for farmers.
And, you know, a third of the nation's corn crops I was reading, have not been planted yet. How is this going to impact consumers down the road?
Well, the good news for farmers is prices are starting to go up. It could have a potential impact on consumers because all the grain that's grown here, most of it goes to animal feed. So again, we could see that affect prices because if there's less feed, it means feed's higher priced, which means it costs more for farmers to raise their animals. So it's got a trickle-down effect for sure, especially when we're losing yield potential. And, farming's tough enough, like you said, but we need everything to go right now to try and have a good year with what's left of the crop.
Yeah, and it really does affect everybody. Thank you so much for waking up early with us, Nick. We really appreciate it. And we're going to be speaking with Nick in the next half hour to talk more about how local farmers are dealing with all this. Back to you.
All right, Keely Arthur live in Evansville this morning. Keely, thank you.
6:07 your time now. Big news for the Bucks this morning. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the most valuable player in the NBA this season. Giannis received that honor at the NBA awards ceremony in Santa Monica last night. The Greek Freak averaged almost 26 points, more than 12 rebounds, and 6 assists a game this season. He joins Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the only Bucks to ever win the MVP award. Pretty exciting for him, and he had an emotional tribute to his mother last night.
Yeah, if you haven't watched that video, look it up because there's not a dry eye in the room when he's speaking about her.
Definitely on the front page of channel3000.com this morning. Check it out. All right, still ahead here on News 3 Now this morning, we have an exclusive interview with the new CEO of the Madison Ballet. We're talking about what's next for the company after the break.
We are also warming things up even more today with the return of some sunshine. Patty's tracking the heat and humidity along with those showers and storm chances sticking around. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. A nice comfortable start to today. It's not as humid as it was yesterday at this time. Yesterday we did manage to climb into the mid-70s, but once those showers and thunderstorms started to pop up during the afternoon, temperatures quickly dropped back into the mid-60s, and that's where we stayed for the rest of the evening. So it was a little chilly for late June. Today is definitely going to be warmer. Take a look at these rain totals, though, over the last 24 hours. Officially, about a ½ an inch at the airport in Madison. Had about 3/4 of an inch in my rain gauge on the west side of town. But you can see that there were some higher amounts for western and northwestern Dane County, parts of southern Sauk County, and extreme eastern Iowa County, where Doppler is estimating over an inch to almost 2 inches of rain did fall yesterday. So those rain showers and thunderstorms keeping temperatures down. Now there is a chance for some showers and thunderstorms to once again develop this afternoon and evening. This morning I've been watching just a lone shower and isolated thunderstorm pop up now across southeastern Minnesota. These showers and thunderstorms actually are not what we're concerned about. It'll be later on this afternoon as a cold front moves into the area. So a few sprinkles or a light shower possible in southwestern Wisconsin this morning. Then we'll wait several hours until this afternoon before more development is expected. Now there is a slight risk for severe storms from Madison and points to the south and east. While there is that front moving through, so any storms that could develop could be strong to severe with large hail and strong winds. The confidence on those thunderstorms actually developing is pretty low here in southern Wisconsin. Best chances to see that activity will be to the south, especially right along the state line and further south through Iowa and back into Missouri today. Here's a look at your high temperature trend. Once we get through today, we really turn the focus towards heat and humidity as temperatures climb to around 90 for the upcoming weekend. Alert days have been added to the forecast. It's been quite some time since we've had anything close to this, so be prepared this weekend. Heat index values will be getting into the mid and upper 90s, so if you have plans outside, be sure you stay hydrated, take lots of breaks, and get yourself out of that sun if you can for short breaks. A live look from the WISC-TV sky cam. Speaking of sun, it is up this morning. Skies are clear. We have comfortable temperatures, 61 here in Madison and Monroe, 60 in Platteville, 59 in the Dells. Dew points are quite a bit lower than they were yesterday, though, and that really makes all the difference. Dew points are back in the 50s in most spots. Not expecting a big climb in those dew points today. We should see dew points hover in the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees, so it's definitely not going to be as humid. Your future track forecast model shows you that some clouds will move into the area as we go towards the afternoon. Highs will reach the low 80s today. There's that chance. This particular model, not too excited about our rain chances later on today. It's keeping most of the activity south of the state line. Temperatures should fall nicely through the evening hours. We'll be back into the 60s tomorrow morning. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. Highs climbing into the mid and upper 80s this week. Another chance for rain coming on Thursday and a slight chance on Friday, but the focus will be the heat and humidity heading into the upcoming weekend. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We'll send it over to Josh Tim for all the details. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Looking good on the Beltline for the early commute. No delays showing up in either direction at this point. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad. Just a few brake lights on Stoughton Road and Verona Road approaching the Beltline. Nothing to slow you down around the Capitol and on campus. Plan on things picking up over the next hour or so. And other main routes coming into the city, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no major issues. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Josh and Hattie, thank you both. All right, 6:15 right now. Madison Ballet is starting a new era with the announcement of a new CEO set to take the helm and keep that company moving forward.
Yeah, only News 3 Now is talking with the new head of the ballet this morning to get his take on what's next. Jonathan Solari, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
We were talking during the break. You are only 33. This is a pretty big honor.
It is, yes. I'm very honored to be part of this community and this organization. It's a long legacy, 38 years. The Madison Ballet has been the premier dance company in the region, certainly in the city, and I'm looking forward to taking us into the future. Yeah.
So we've reported on some financial struggles for Madison Ballet in recent years. What are you kind of looking for in going into the company and trying to change things up?
Well, I think that the fact that we're in the good position that we're in now is a testament to the hard work of the staff and the board. I'm very happy to be part of that team. We're turning a corner, and it's a really exciting time at the ballet because we've just opened a new dance school, new studio space on Odana Road. That happened last month. It's beautiful. We have new floors, keeping our dancers safe, and in good condition. And this community is poised to support the arts in really incredible ways. We've heard the announcement of the new Youth Performing Arts Center, and we're on the verge of making an announcement about our next season. So we're having an expanded season next year, getting back into the Overture Center, and the Bartell, of course, will have the Nutcracker, but looking to continue to find new ways to engage the community and do good work.
I know during the interview process you talked about, quote, eliminating the curtain as opposed to raising it. What exactly does that mean?
I've always been an advocate for really radical access to the arts. I think that we can look to history to understand the importance of a community engaging with arts as a part of their civic duty, and anything that we can do to make sure that there are no barriers to access. So looking to figure out ways to provide increased scholarships for our classes, looking for ways to be able to increase lower ticket prices, and just make sure that the community understands that we're here as an asset for them.
Very, very neat. Jonathan, congrats.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the new season.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All right.
you.
Well, today is Lightning Awareness Day, and we're going to be talking with Chris Reese about what that means as far as keeping your family safe, coming up here in just a moment.
Good thing Chris Reese is in talking about lightning, because it is in the forecast yet again this week. Hattie's breaking down our chances for storms when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Welcome back at 6:21 on a Tuesday morning, and you know we're always talking about how hungry we are, and
It's our
Leah and I,
snack
we like to put down a few donuts a week usually.
We do. We really
She's
do.
a bad influence. So Quick Trip released their glaziers yesterday. Initially it was a joke a few months ago, but because there was so much talk with it, they actually did it. So we're giving them a shot this morning.
What's the
What are we
verdict?
thinking?
It doesn't taste like a chip at all.
Chris
Chris, come
Reese,
over
get
here,
over
try
here.
it out.
Try these?
Here, you can have some of mine. I took a very large handful.
My goodness, Leah.
I'm hungry.
What is this, a meal?
It's about to be.
It's like a cinnamon and sugar chip, honestly. There's no salt at all.
I
It's
just don't know
sweet.
if chips are supposed to taste like donuts.
The aftertaste is a little interesting, but now it's going to be interesting
It
talking
has
for
a
the next 40
fortune cookie
minutes.
taste. Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, it's edible. Not bad.
Something
take it. I
different.
need it.
We're all about new things, right?
6:30 in the morning. I'll eat anything right now.
Well, you know,
Practically lunchtime for us.
with all these donuts that Leah and I put down, it's kind of hard to keep the beach bod going, and with more hot weather on the way.
Hey, no chips
right.
in the pool. Keep
No
the chips
chips
out
in
of
the-
the pool.
yes.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants that.
All right. Speaking of pool, Barrett's swimming. You're not going to find any chips in that pool, but it's looking pretty happy with the pool weather today. Take a look at the forecast for today. We are talking lots of sunshine today, especially this morning, but there is a potential for a little bit of rain later on. Here's a look at the radar map. There are a few isolated showers out ahead of a larger batch of showers and thunderstorms moving across Iowa, all out ahead of a cold front that will be moving through the area later today. So there will be the potential for some showers and thunderstorms to develop. There's a slight risk for severe thunderstorms from Madison and points to the south and east. Now, confidence in these thunderstorms developing today is relatively low, but any that do develop could produce some large hail as well as strong winds. Here's the probability of precipitation. Again, very low through the day. So if you're headed to the pool this morning, no issues. Just keep an eye on the sky and the radar map as you head towards the afternoon. Download that First Alert weather app and you'll be able to see exactly where those showers and thunderstorms are popping up. Our forecast today, though, has temperatures in the 80s. Finally back to the 80s, 82 for the high today. Again, that chance for some rain a little bit later on. We were talking about pool weather, and it's definitely in the forecast. We have alert days for the high heat and humidity Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Take a look at those high temperatures back into the 90s. It's been almost a year since we've seen 90 degrees. July 13th was the last 90-degree temperature here in Madison.
So we've talked about how I like the thunder boomers, but even storm watchers like me have to be careful.
Yeah, about 50 people die every year from lightning strikes. That's why Ready, Wisconsin is declaring today Lightning Awareness Day. Our Chris Reese is in this morning to tell us why this is something we should take pretty seriously. Right, Chris?
That's right. Lightning, oddly enough, is, yes, very, very dangerous. But a big question that a lot of folks don't always know the answer to is exactly how lightning forms. So today's Weather 101, we're going to talk about that. You have a thunderstorm cloud that goes up. These are called cumulonimbus. At the bottom of the cloud, you typically have negative charges known as electrons. These begin to attract protons, or positive charges, that we do have at the ground. So that electron begins to zigzag down. This is known as a stepped leader. We're just going to call it the negative charge for this morning. Now, as that negative charge begins to go towards the ground, it begins to draw up the positive charges, typically from things like trees or tall metal objects. And then eventually they begin to merge, forming a very powerful current, and then eventually what we begin to see is the return stroke. That is the actual lightning strike, traveling at 60,000 miles per second, folks, and often at temperatures of over 50,000 degrees. And so this process may repeat several times in the same path. This is what causes that lightning to flicker. And so there are multiple different types of lightning that we oftentimes see in a cloud as well. Of course, you have your inner cloud lightning that's very common. Cloud to sky happens sometimes as well. What's rare, though, is cloud to cloud or ground to cloud. But yeah, folks, there are lots of things to look at when it comes to lightning. One of the things to keep in mind is just how far away it is. There's a 30 by 30 rule. When you hear lightning, if there's less than 30 seconds between the flash and the actual thunder, you need to head inside and then wait 30 minutes before the next lightning strike. As well, lightning, though deadly, may not be as deadly as you think. It kills on average about 47 people a year. 4 people have died this year, which 3 of those were in the last 2 weeks. However, the true deadliest weather is heat, which kills on average 136 people each year. So these are the things we have to be mindful of all summer.
Don't mind us.
We're paying attention. It's really interesting.
It's okay. You can bring your snacks in my classroom. You
It's
know?
just like
thank you,
we're
Mr.
in
Reese.
class, paying attention, just trying to learn some stuff.
Yeah. That's what we're
Boosting
doing.
that sugar, that blood sugar right there.
Fine.
There you
with
go.
me. Yeah.
I need some coffee with my donuts.
I know.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris Reese, thanks.
My pleasure.
Still on News 3 Now this morning, the Stoughton girls JV basketball coach is facing allegations of misconduct, but the DA won't press charges.
And a proposed new facility in Spring Green would breed dogs to be used for medical testing. How that community is responding when News 3 Now this morning continues. I'm here with the
Right now, a Cottage Grove man faces a felony charge of recording video of a woman in a restroom. Why police say this might not be the only case.
And blame it on the rain. It's a historically late planting season, how it's impacting local farmers ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks, and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning on this Tuesday, June 25th. If you've been missing summer, maybe we haven't seen it too much this month, well, here she comes.
She's coming in hot, too.
Is.
Hattie's out on the patio this morning. We're just all jazzed up with the sunshine there, Hads.
It is a great start to today, and it feels more comfortable this morning than it did yesterday. Dew points dropped yesterday, and so we're looking at pretty nice conditions this morning. Skies are clear right now. So nice to see the sunshine early in the morning. Look for plenty of sun early today. Temperatures are hovering right around 60 degrees in most locations. Dew points, though, have dropped back into the 50s. So again, it doesn't feel as humid as it did yesterday. There is still a chance for a few showers or thunderstorms to pop up this afternoon into this evening. Confidence is pretty low, though, in that development. We'll watch it carefully later on today. But in between, high temperatures will warm into the low 80s this afternoon. Let's get a peek at those traffic maps. We'll show you if anything has changed over the last half hour or so. Still looking pretty quiet on the Beltline. Just a few brake lights showing up on Park Street as you head towards the downtown area. But otherwise, no accidents to report. I did look across all of southern Wisconsin. No issues at this hour. Travel still looking good on the interstate.
We are loving that sunshine, though.
Yeah, sun is good. You know, we do have that chance for some rain later on today, but if you've been waiting for the summertime heat and humidity, your wait is almost over. We have 90s in the forecast.
She's coming in hot, right?
Yes, she is.
She is. Making up for lost time.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Hattie.
You're welcome.
All right, here are the three things you should know this morning. A contract between the Madison School District and the city that puts police officers in schools cleared another hurdle last night, but some groups still want the board to reconsider. With only one vote in opposition, the Finance Committee agreed to pass the contract between the city and Madison schools to the next round. However, three former alders are requesting the school board re-vote on the issue. They said Gloria Reyes, the board president, shouldn't have cast her vote in the 4-3 decision that helped pass the contract since she works for the city. Now that it's passed the Finance Committee, it moves on to the full council, which is scheduled to vote on it next week.
The 5th Bishop of Madison will be installed later this morning. Only our Charlotte DeLeste sat down with Donald Hine this week. Hine is from New Berlin and went to Marquette University while attending St. Francis Seminary. He's been a priest for 30 years, the last 4 of which he spent as a bishop for the Catholic Diocese of Gary, Indiana. He will be installed at 11 this morning at St. Maria Goretti on the west side. You can watch that event live over on channel3000.com.
President Trump has taken action against Iran with an executive order that takes direct aim at Iranian officials with new financial sanctions. Trump cited Iran's alleged pursuit of nuclear weapons, its development of ballistic missiles, and support of terrorism. CBS News has learned that they also approved a cyber attack against Iran last week after he called off a missile strike.
In other headlines this morning, a man is in the hospital and an officer is on paid administrative leave after a hostage case in Marquette County. It happened at a house in the town of Buffalo yesterday afternoon, where a woman called police saying her son was threatening her with a gun. Officers say that man refused to negotiate with officers. A tactical team walked in and a Columbia County deputy shot the man. He is in the hospital this morning.
The Stoughton High School girls JV basketball coach has been removed following an investigation into inappropriate activities with members of the team. Stoughton police reports show team members said Lewis invited 5 of them back to his house in Evansville where they smoked marijuana from a dab pen. The girls say the next day he called and texted some of them describing a sex dream he had about them. The Evansville Police Department recommended Lewis be charged with 5 counts of child enticement and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The Rock County DA has decided not to charge him, saying the court can't prove the girls smoked an illegal substance.
A man in Cottage Grove is facing felony charges this morning after being accused of taking video of a woman in a restroom. 21-year-old Mitchell Brooks is out on a $500 bond for an incident at Burlington Coat Factory back in March. That's when a woman called police to report a man in the bathroom taking photos of her 14-year-old daughter. A criminal complaint says Brooks denied doing anything, but after getting a search warrant in April, detectives found a deleted video on Brooks' phone of a woman fitting the description of that mother. Officers are warning there may be unreported incidents involving similar behavior. Anyone with information is asked to give Madison Police a phone call.
A potential dog breeding facility is up for permit approval in Spring Green. The facility would be used to breed and sell beagles for medical testing. The owner said in a statement they maintain rigorous animal care practices and standards and have been inspected and approved by the USDA. The community has expressed complaints about the facility, including smells and noises, as well as ethical concerns. The next hearing will be on July 17th.
All right, 6:36 your time now. Today marks a big deadline for farmers who are still struggling with wet fields.
It's the latest planting season for corn on record, and that's forcing many farmers to make a tough choice this morning. Keely Arthur joins us live from an Evansville farm to explain. Hi, Keely.
Good morning. Yes, we are dealing with a historically late planting season because of the wet weather. Farmers either planted really late or not at all. And I want you to take a look at this. Now, this is soybean crop. I'm being told that by this time this year, it should be at my knee, and we are not seeing that at all. Obviously, very far from that. I have here with me expert with the UW Extension, Nick Baker, to talk about this really late planting season. Nick, it's soybeans, it's corn. How are farmers dealing with it?
You know, farmers are just coping the best they can with this weather we've had. Like you said, typically in an average year, we'd see everything planted by early May at the latest, mid-May. Right now, today is the last day for corn for insurance purposes, and really June 10th was when farmers want to have corn in at the latest. Soybeans too, we've got a little time on soybeans, but every day right now we don't have things planted. Farmers are losing yield potential, and that means it hurts their bottom dollar. Farmers really need to get crops in right now.
And farmers always have to deal with weather, a whole slew of other variables, but this year has been extremely difficult. You said that there's some farmers that have had to turn to this prevent plant option that have never had to before.
Right. Prevent plants is an option in crop insurance where if you cannot get your crops planted by a certain deadline for corn and soybeans, you actually get paid by the insurance company not to plant because the risk becomes so high of loss of yield and loss of potential profitability. I know my own family has never taken prevent plant before, had to take 130 acres of prevent plant on corn just because the conditions were too wet. And I mean, historically bad. We've got charts at the university that show growing seasons, and we've never seen one this wet, this late, this cold, and this delayed. So it's just a really tough year for farmers to get things planted.
All right, well, we appreciate you explaining all that. Nick Baker with the UW Extension, and maybe some hope in Hattie and Chris's forecast. We know we're seeing a bit more sun and a bit more heat ahead, so back to you.
Keely Arthur live in Evansville this morning. Keely, thank you.
All right, still ahead this morning, the U.S. women's national team is moving along in the World Cup as the elimination matches begin.
Coming up, we'll take a look at what's in store for the U.S. team as they chase another World Cup championship. This is News 3 Now this morning.
All right, so we always ask you to share your morning with us, and Kathleen sent in this gorgeous photo. This was taken in Jefferson, and we were curious what it was. Hattie, do you have any ideas?
That is a halo around the sun. It's caused by ice crystals high up in the atmosphere.
Wow.
Ice crystals in June?
Well, that was a real high. Those are like jet stream level.
I don't even want to talk about it. Now,
30,000
soon
feet.
we're going to have Josh talking about double snowmen.
Whatever.
No, don't worry. Those ice crystals won't make it to the ground.
Okay, thank you very much, Hattie. And thank you, Kathleen, for sharing this one.
If you've got a photo like Kathleen's that you'd like to share about your My Morning, just go to our social media pages. All right, 6:42 right now. The U.S. women's national team is set to face France in the quarterfinals of the World Cup after beating Spain yesterday. It was the first round of elimination games, and the 2-1 win for the U.S. team came from 2 penalty kicks, both from Megan Rapinoe. Team USA plays against France on Friday at 2.
Good luck to them.
That is incredible. All right, we are keeping an eye on some more heat and humidity moving into southern Wisconsin over the coming days with some alert days in the forecast as well.
We'll check in with Hattie in a little bit.
Yep.
But first, it's Tuesday, June 25th. We want to say happy birthday to Molly D, Isabella, and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks so much for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. We have a pretty nice start to this Tuesday morning. Clear skies, sun is up this morning. Temperatures are more comfortable as well. We're not dealing with that high heat and humidity. Let's step over here though and take a look at the month of June. We're just in the last week of the month, and it's been a kind of a cool month. I don't even remember those above normal temperatures at the beginning of June because it's been so chilly for this time of the year. Well, we are about to turn the tables and head to much warmer than normal conditions as we close out the month. Here's a look at that extended 10-day forecast. Normal highs in the low 80s, about as warm as it gets here in southern Wisconsin for our normal temperatures. We'll be above that though, with 90s headed our way for the upcoming weekend. So kind of a slow start to summer, but I think summer will make up for some of the lost time this weekend. Now, 3 alert days are in the forecast for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Each day is going to be very hot and humid with heat index values in the mid to upper 90s during the peak heating hours. That'll mainly be late afternoon and early evening. We're not going to see a lot of relief from that heat and humidity overnight as well. So the conditions will just get worse as we go through the weekend into the start of next week. Now, here's a look at what's happening on the radar map. Just a lone shower working its way into southwestern Wisconsin. It has been holding together over the last couple of hours. It will be just a few sprinkles or a very light shower. Some lightning strikes showing up further back to the south and west. Now, there still is a risk for thunderstorms later today, and that slight risk area does clip southeastern Wisconsin from Madison, points to the south and east. The better dynamics and the better forcing for severe weather will be well off to our south and west, but there is that chance here in southern Wisconsin. It's all due to this cold front that will be moving eastward through the day today. As that front pushes into southern Wisconsin, we'll likely see a few showers and thunderstorms develop. Out ahead of that front, a warm day. Southwesterly winds, temperatures in the 60s through the plains states or through the central part of the United States. In the plains, it's actually a little cooler with 50s this morning. Now, here's a closer look at southern Wisconsin. Temperatures right around 60 in Watertown, 58 in Juneau, starting at 60 in the Dells and 63 in Prairie du Chien. Dew points, though, are in the 50s, so it's pretty comfortable. Look for partly sunny skies as we head towards the lunch hour today. Temperatures will top in the low 80s. Here's that chance for a little bit of shower and thunderstorm development later on this afternoon into this evening. Again, isolated is most likely what we're looking at for those thunderstorms later today. Stay pretty comfortable then during the overnight hours as temperatures dip back into the 60s. We're looking at a low of 63 degrees. Hot and humid, though, heading for the rest of the week into the upcoming weekend. A few chances for rain as well. I think the best chance for the rest of this week for those showers and thunderstorms will come on Thursday. Here's our pet walk forecast. Aww. Milo and Wanakee all snuggled up with Blanky.
What a cutie.
He looks so innocent.
Yeah.
That's
sure
usually when they get into trouble, though.
Exactly.
That's true. 82. He'll probably be curled up in a sunny spot today.
There you go. Thanks, Hads.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next on News 3 Now this morning. 6:52, time for the morning sprint as our team gets your day started with the most local news.
Lots of new developments overnight to catch you up on. We start in Madison this morning, where some groups still want the Madison School Board to reconsider a contract with the city that puts police officers in schools. Last night, the Finance Committee agreed to pass the contract between the city and Madison schools to the next round. However, some request a revote on the issue, citing Board President Glory Ray's employment with the city as a conflict of interest.
The school board has a new budget for the next school year this morning, but changes could still come depending on the state budget. The board approved a $463 million budget with a 0.5% pay increase for employees. But the proposed state budget could bring $2.7 million more than expected into the district. That could mean a 1.5% raise for those employees instead.
The State Assembly will meet to vote on the state budget later today. The Joint Finance Committee sent the budget proposal to the full Assembly earlier this month, and the Senate is expected to vote this on Thursday. It includes the most significant spending increase on education in years, but still only about half of the amount Governor Evers was proposing.
A 60-mile march by education advocates will end at the steps of the Capitol this afternoon. The group has been walking from Jefferson County all the way to Madison. They're pushing lawmakers to add a 60% reimbursement for special education costs to the state budget. They're scheduled to arrive at East High School just after 1 today before walking the final 2 miles to the Capitol.
President Trump is taking action against Iran with an executive order that takes aim at Iranian officials with new financial sanctions. Trump cited Iran's alleged pursuit of nuclear weapons, its development of ballistic missiles, and support of terrorism. CBS News has learned that he also approved a cyber attack against Iran last week after he called off a missile strike.
Tuesday morning, watching a lone shower working its way through southwestern Wisconsin this morning. Better chances for rain, though, as we head towards the afternoon and evening today for southern Wisconsin. Here's a look at the probability of precipitation. It does tick up just a little bit as we go through the afternoon hours, so be aware of that potential for some rain later today. Temperatures, though, will top in the low 80s, so feeling a bit more like summer this afternoon.
We've all heard the old adage, knee-high by the 4th of July, but the corn, soybeans, and other crops are nowhere near as high as they normally would be this late in the season. That's because wet weather has caused farmers to plant either extremely late or not at all. A big problem considering it's June 25th. This is the final day farmers can take the prevent option for corn crops. It will be a percentage of what they may have made had they actually grown their corn. Now, all crop producers know that to achieve optimum yields, it's important to plant early. So experts expect that this could lead to an unprecedented number of farmers taking the prevent plant option because they simply were not able to plant their corn, and this could impact consumers down the road.
Thank you very much, Keely. An update now out of Wisconsin Dells, where the body of the 11-year-old boy who went missing last week on the Wisconsin River has been found. Crews found Jamison Miller's body yesterday morning, about a half a mile away from where divers had started their search. Jamison was last seen going into the river near the Chapel Hill Gorge Trail last Tuesday.
Members of the public will have a chance to pay their final respects to a fallen Racine police officer today. A visitation will be held for Officer John Hetland this afternoon in Kenosha. There's another visitation scheduled for tomorrow before his funeral with full honors. Hetland was shot and killed while trying to stop an armed robbery at a bar last week.
Donald Hing will be installed as the 5th Bishop of Madison later this morning. He talked exclusively with our Charlotte DeLeste this week. Hing is from New Berlin and went to Marquette University while attending St. Francis Seminary. He's been a priest for 30 years, the last 4 of which he spent as a bishop for the Catholic Diocese of Gary, Indiana. The event is scheduled for 11 this morning. You can watch it live over on channel3000.com.
Big news for the Bucks this morning. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the most valuable player in the NBA this season. Giannis received the honor at the NBA Awards ceremony in Santa Monica, California last night. The Greek Freak averaged almost 26 points, over 12 rebounds, and 6 assists a game this season. He joins Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the only Bucks to ever win the MVP award.
All right, 6:56 your time now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a final look at your first alert traffic. Hi, Josh.
Hi, good morning. As expected, the westbound Beltline is getting busier between Stoughton Road and West Broadway, but so far it will only slow you down an extra minute or so. Inbound John Nolan starting to tap the brakes near the Olin Avenue intersection heading into downtown Madison. Verona Road on the brakes approaching the Highway PD intersection in both directions, but other main routes coming into the city, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no major issues. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you very much, Josh.
And here's a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam, looking to the west from the station. Lots of sunshine this morning. Great start to the day. There is a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms a little bit later on this afternoon, but high temperatures will reach 82 degrees. It only gets warmer from here, guys. We're headed into the mid and upper 80s. Alert days are in the forecast this weekend into next week for that high heat and humidity.
Some pool days ahead. Thank you very much, Hattie.
That's true.
And thanks for joining us, everyone. Make it a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.